Lieutenant Jack Renshaw opened his eyes slowly. Bright white light filled his vision. The ceiling above him was smooth and glowing, with lines that pulsed gently like a heartbeat. He blinked a few times, trying to remember where he was. His head felt heavy, like it was full of fog. He sat up slowly and looked around. The room was clean, quiet, and very strange. There were no corners, only curves. Everything seemed to be made of some kind of smooth silver material. A soft hum filled the air. It didn't sound like any engine he knew. Jack tried to move his legs and then froze. Wait, where are my pants? He looked down at himself. He was lying on a long medical table. A thin, warm gel covered most of his body. He wore only a strange cloth around his waist, barely enough to call it clothing. His boots, flight suit, and everything else were missing. Before he could panic, a door slid open without a sound. A tall figure entered the room. It wasn't human. She was about 7 feet tall, with lavender skin, 4 calm silver eyes, and long hair that floated slightly as if underwater. She wore a white robe with glowing blue patterns. Her voice was soft but clear. "Good. You are awake." Jack stared at her, speechless for a moment. What are you?" "I am Nurse Varasha. You were found injured after your ship crashed near the edge of the Tau Gamma Rim. You are now in a Talari medical center. You are safe." Jack blinked again. "Talari? I've never heard of your kind." She tilted her head gently. "That is not unusual. Your species is still new to galactic space." He tried to stand, but the gel stuck to his skin like warm jelly. "Why am I not wearing pants?" Varasha looked confused for a moment, then smiled. "Your clothing was damaged and contaminated with harmful chemicals. We removed them for your healing." Jack sighed and looked around. "Okay, fine. Where's the rest of my stuff? My flight suit? My gear?" "Secure. You will receive them after the healing process is complete." Jack raised an eyebrow. "Healing process, I feel fine. Well, mostly." "You are not fine," Varasha said firmly. "You had 3 broken ribs, internal bleeding, and a damaged spine. Our biogel is repairing your body at the cellular level." He reached toward his ribs, surprised to feel no pain. "You fixed all that in 1 day?" "It has been 6 days," she replied. Jack's eyes widened. "6 days? I've been out for that long?" Varasha nodded. "Your body required deep restoration. Our technology is different from yours, faster, cleaner, more advanced." Jack rubbed his forehead. "Great. I crash my ship, get rescued by aliens, and wake up in a weird hospital with no pants." Varasha blinked slowly. "We do not mean offense. The gel must stay in contact with your skin to work." "Sure," Jack said, swinging his legs off the table. "But you could have given me a sheet or something." She tilted her head again, curious. "You are concerned about modesty. Interesting." Jack stood wobbly at first. The floor was warm and soft, like walking on memory foam. "I'm concerned about a lot of things, like where I am, who you are, and why I'm being treated like an experiment." "You are not an experiment," Varasha said gently. "You are a patient." He didn't fully believe her. Something about the room, the machines, and even her calm voice made him feel watched. Jack walked over to a glowing panel near the wall. He tapped it. A series of symbols flashed across the screen, then shifted into English. "Project Restoration, Phase 1. Test Subject 117H status, active." He turned to Varasha. "What does this mean?" "Test Subject 117H? That's me, isn't it?" The nurse didn't answer right away. Her face remained calm. "You are part of a very important healing process. Your species has shown unique resistance to many known treatments. We are learning from you to help others." Jack crossed his arms. "So I am an experiment." "You are more than that," she said softly. "You are the key to helping millions, maybe more." He didn't know what to say. He looked down at himself again. Still mostly naked, still covered in that strange glowing gel. "Well," he muttered, "if I'm gonna be a hero, I'd really prefer to do it with pants on." "Varasha, smiled faintly. Clothing will be returned after final cell stabilization. Jack sighed and sat back down on the edge of the table. You better not be turning me into a lizard or something. The nurse paused at the door. No. We are helping you become more human. The door slid shut, leaving Jack alone with that strange thought echoing in his head. Jack Renshaw sat quietly on the edge of the smooth silver table, staring at his hands. They looked different, stronger. The veins stood out more and his skin had a healthy shine, as if he had never been injured. Just a few days ago he had been in a crash that nearly killed him. Now he felt better than ever. He clenched his fist and raised an eyebrow. No pain. No stiffness. Not even a bruise. The gel on his body had started to dry, flaking off like soft dust. Jack stood and stretched. His muscles responded like they belonged to someone who had trained for years. He touched his toes with ease. That had never been easy before. Something was definitely going on. He looked around the room again. The smooth, curved walls gave no clue to time or place. No windows, no clocks, just the same quiet hum and glowing panels. It didn't feel like a hospital anymore. It felt like a lab. Jack walked to the panel he had seen earlier. It lit up as he approached. The same message appeared. Project Restoration, Phase 1, Test Subject, 117, Age Status, Active. He frowned. Still a test subject, huh? He tapped a few spots on the screen. More data opened. Graphs, charts, biological scans. It showed his heart rate, brain activity, even his thoughts. Measured, tracked, compared. Everything was increasing. Faster reflexes, higher focus, improved memory. He stared at the screen. They're not just healing me. They're upgrading me. The door hissed open behind him. Jack turned quickly, faster than expected. It was Nurse Varasha again. She carried a small tray with a clear drink and a folded piece of cloth. I brought hydration and fresh covering, she said. Jack took the cloth. It looked like a simple robe made of light, smooth fabric. He quickly put it on. Thanks. I was starting to feel like a science fair project. Varasha placed the drink on a nearby table. You are progressing well. Better than expected. Jack narrowed his eyes. What do you mean by that? The nurse paused, as if choosing her words carefully. Human biology reacts differently to Talari biogel. Stronger immune response, faster cell repair. Even your brain is adapting. Jack picked up the drink and sniffed it. Smelled like berries. So I'm not just healing, I'm changing. Yes, she said simply, but not in a harmful way. You are becoming more efficient, sharper, stronger. He took a sip. The drink was cool and refreshing. And I'm guessing that's not normal for your other patients? Varasha shook her head. The gel helps other species, but with you it is doing more than healing. It is enhancing. We do not fully understand why. Jack gave a half smile. Lucky me. There was a moment of silence between them. Then Jack asked, So what exactly is this Project Restoration? You said I'm helping others. But what are you really doing here? Varasha sat down on a floating chair that formed from the wall. Many races in the galaxy are facing a disease, a slow sickness that weakens the body over time. Our medicine can only slow it down. We created Project Restoration to find a better cure. Jack leaned against the table. And how does turning me into some superhuman help with that? You were found near a ruined ship carrying medical cargo. We scanned your body and saw something unusual. Your cells resisted the disease completely. You had been exposed, but you showed no signs of sickness. That is why we brought you here. Jack rubbed his jaw. So I'm not just a crash victim. I'm the cure? You are the key to building the cure, Varasha said. If we understand how your body resists the disease, we can make medicine for others. Jack felt a mix of pride and worry. Helping others sounded good. But being studied like a rare sample? That made his skin crawl. He looked at the panel again. It showed his neural activity, much higher than normal. What happens if my brain gets too sharp or my body keeps changing, he asked. Varasha stood. We are monitoring you carefully. The process is controlled. Jack folded his arms. And if I don't want to be monitored anymore? The nurse looked at him calmly. You are free to leave. We are not keeping you here against your will. That surprised him. Really? Yes. But if you leave now, the process will stop. You may lose the enhancements. You may also lose the chance to help millions. Jack sighed. He didn't trust the situation, but he couldn't ignore what was happening. He felt stronger, smarter, even calmer. Whatever they had done, it was working. He walked to the door. Can I at least see the rest of the facility? Varasha nodded. Of course, you are a guest, not a prisoner. The door opened silently. Jack stepped through and followed her into a long hallway. The walls shimmered with soft light. Other rooms glowed behind clear doors, some with alien patients floating in tanks. He saw creatures he had only read about. Some looked sick, some looked scared. This is bigger than me, he whispered. Varasha looked at him with her 4 calm eyes. Yes, Jack Renshaw. Much bigger. Jack Renshaw followed Nurse Varasha down the glowing hallway. The lights above seemed to move as they walked, like they were alive, adjusting to their steps. Jack noticed how silent everything was. No shouting, no alarms, no rushing doctors. It was peaceful. Too peaceful. He passed other rooms with clear walls. Inside, he saw different alien species. Some floated in healing tanks. Others lay on soft beds surrounded by the same strange gel he had woken up in. Each patient was different. Tall, small, furry, scaled, but all of them looked weak. Jack spoke without turning. These people, they're all sick? Yes, Varasha said softly. Each of them is infected by the same slow disease. We call it the fading. It touches many species. We have been fighting it for generations. Jack frowned. And you think I'm the cure? We believe your body holds the answer, Varasha replied. You were exposed, but you didn't get sick. Your immune system is unique, powerful. Jack rubbed his arm where the gel had dried completely. So why all the secrecy? Why not just tell me from the start? Varasha stopped walking. Because the truth is difficult. Many do not wish to be studied. They fear being used or changed. We hope to heal you first. Then you might understand. Jack turned to face her. I understand now. You're not just nurses. You're scientists. And I'm not just a patient. I'm your most important test subject. Varasha didn't deny it. She simply nodded. That is true. Jack looked around at the quiet hallway. You're not the first alien race to meet humans, but you're the first to treat us like something special. You are special, Varasha said. Your kind is young but fast to grow. You adapt to everything, survive in places others cannot. You do not realize how rare that is. Jack let the words sink in. He had always thought of humans as the small players in a big galaxy, but now he wasn't so sure. So, what exactly are you doing to me? He asked. What's the end goal? Varasha led him into a larger room. It looked like a mix of a lab and a meditation chamber. Smooth chairs circled a glowing sphere in the center. Lights floated around it showing pictures, data, and images of cells and DNA strands. You are in phase 2 of the program, Varasha said. Your body is adapting. The gel has not only healed you, it has awakened parts of your biology that were sleeping. Jack stepped closer to the sphere. One of the images showed a picture of his own brain glowing with activity. You're saying I'm evolving? In a way, Varasha replied. Your body is learning from the gel, and the gel is learning from you. You are becoming faster, smarter, stronger, but still human. Jack took a deep breath. So what happens to me after all this? Do I go home? Or do I turn into some kind of super being and join your science team? Varasha smiled faintly. That is your choice. He blinked. Seriously? Yes, she said. We cannot force you. Your mind must accept the change, or the body will reject it. Jack looked at his hands again. His fingers moved with perfect control. He remembered every detail of the ship crash now. Every sound, every light, every second. His memory had never been this sharp. You said I'm helping others, he said quietly. But how does this help the sick ones out there? Varasha tapped the floating sphere. It changed to show tiny machines, microscopic robots swimming through blood. This, she said, a new kind of medicine, built from your biology. It will copy your immune patterns and deliver healing to those who are fading. It will take time, but your body gives us the blueprint. Jack nodded slowly. So I really am the key. Yes, Varasha said. You are the beginning. He walked in silence for a moment, then chuckled. And to think I was more worried about not wearing pants. Varasha gave a soft laugh, a rare sound. Clothing is temporary, healing is forever. Jack turned serious again. So what now? What's next? We continue the process, she said. If you agree, phase 3 will begin. You will leave the medical center and begin physical training. We must learn how your new abilities work in real-world situations. You mean, like a test drive? Yes, but safer, she replied. Mostly. Jack crossed his arms. And if I don't agree? Then we remove the gel, slow the process, and let you return to normal human health. You will still be healthy, but not enhanced. Jack looked out the wide window as it opened, revealing the stars beyond. A distant planet glowed blue in the distance. Somewhere out there, humans were still exploring, still learning, still struggling, and here he was, being offered a chance to help an entire galaxy. He looked at Varasha. Let's begin phase 3. Jack Renshaw stood in a new chamber, larger, brighter, and very different from the medical room he had first woken up in. The walls here were metallic but smooth, lined with odd shapes that looked like weapons or training tools. He was now dressed in a simple dark suit that moved like skin and adjusted to his body. This place feels like a gym or a test lab, Jack said, stretching his arms. Varasha nodded. It is both. We need to see how your body reacts under pressure. Physical activity, stress, and instinct, they all reveal your limits. Jack smirked. So basically I run, jump, and punch stuff? Yes, Varasha said with a slight smile. But safely. The lights above dimmed and a round platform rose from the floor. Targets appeared, floating spheres that glowed red and blue. Jack stepped onto the platform, and a soft voice echoed from the ceiling. Begin phase 3. Combat. Reflex assessment. The red target shot toward him. Jack's body moved before he even thought. He ducked the first, twisted to avoid the second, and punched the third one straight out of the air. The movement was smooth, almost automatic. Whoa, he said. I didn't even plan that. The gel has enhanced your reflex pathways, Varasha said from a nearby console. You are responding faster than most trained Talari soldiers. Jack kept dodging and striking the targets. Each movement felt easy, like his muscles knew what to do before his brain gave the order. In less than 2 minutes, all the targets were down. Assessment complete. Reaction time 0.09 seconds. Strength level 230% baseline. Jack stepped off the platform, breathing lightly. He wasn't even tired. This isn't just healing, he said. This is transformation. Before Varasha could respond, a loud alarm filled the room. Warning. Unauthorized entry detected. Defensive systems active. The lights turned red. A voice Jack didn't recognize echoed through the room. This is Commander Tahrin of the Keth Syndicate. Surrender your research or face destruction. Jack looked at Varasha. I'm guessing those aren't your friends? Varasha's face was calm, but her eyes had narrowed. No. The Keth do not believe in healing. They take what they want. They believe our research gives too much power to the weak. Explosions rocked the building. Jack could feel the floor tremble. Do you have weapons? He asked. We are a medical facility, Varasha said. We do not fight. Jack raised an eyebrow. Well, you better start. or we're all going to end up as test subjects for those guys. Another explosion shook the walls. Red light flashed, and emergency shields activated over the hallway doors. The calm, peaceful clinic was now under attack. Jack looked around and spotted a metallic staff leaning near the wall. It lit up when he touched it. "I'll hold them off," he said, gripping the staff tightly. Varasha looked uncertain. "You are not trained for this." Jack smiled. Maybe the old me wasn't, but this new me? Let's find out. He ran down the hallway, guided by the sounds of battle. When he turned a corner, he found a group of Keith soldiers breaking through a medical door. They wore dark armor and carried energy weapons. One of them turned as Jack arrived. "Who?" Jack didn't let him finish. He dashed forward faster than the soldier could aim. The staff glowed bright as he swung it, knocking the weapon from the soldier's hands. A second strike knocked him to the ground. The other soldiers reacted quickly, but not quick enough. Jack jumped, spun in the air, and slammed the staff into the floor. A burst of energy knocked them all back. He stood tall, breathing heavily but steady. "Wow," he whispered. "Did I really just do that?" Varasha's voice came through a speaker above. "Yes, you did. Jack, you must reach the command center. We are trying to activate a defense shield, but they are jamming the systems." "On my way," Jack said. He ran through the halls, moving like he'd trained for years. His body no longer felt like his old self. It was quicker, lighter, stronger. The walls trembled again as he reached the control room. Inside, glowing panels blinked with warning signs. He placed his hand on the console. It recognized his touch and activated. Human biosignature accepted. Manual override engaged. A blue shield shot up around the facility. Outside the window, Jack saw Keith's ships backing off as the shield repelled their attacks. The voice came again. "This is not over. We will return for the human." The signal cut off. Silence returned. Jack leaned against the wall, catching his breath. Varasha entered a moment later. "You saved us," she said quietly. Jack looked at her. "And you gave me the tools to do it." She nodded. "You are more than a test subject now. You are proof. Proof that healing can lead to strength, that humans, maybe more than anyone believed." Jack chuckled. "Just one question, though." "Yes? Do I get to keep the staff?" Jack Renshaw stood near the wide window of the Talari Medical Center. Outside, the blue shield still shimmered around the building, keeping the Keth forces away for now. He had fought them off, helped activate the defense systems, and now... He waited. Varasha entered quietly, carrying a data tablet. Her steps were light, but Jack heard them clearly. His hearing had improved. Everything had improved. "You're becoming more stable," she said, checking the readings on the tablet. "The changes in your body are holding. No rejection. No side effects." Jack nodded. "Feels like I could run a marathon and still have energy left to wrestle a bear." Varasha tilted her head. "Do humans often wrestle bears?" Jack laughed. "No, but we do like to prove we're tough, even when we're not," she smiled. "That sounds true." He looked out the window again. "So, I've become stronger, faster, smarter. You healed me. The Keth want to steal your research. But what happens now? Do I go back home? Or is this my new life? Alien science project turned space hero?" Varasha sat beside him. "There is something you should know before you decide." Jack raised an eyebrow. "More secrets?" "No, truth," she said gently. She touched her tablet, and a hologram appeared. It showed a map of the galaxy with different colored dots representing species. Some glowed red, others faded slowly into gray. "This is the disease," Varasha said. "The fading. It spreads quietly. Many races fall to it, but humans are immune. You are not just lucky, you are different." Jack looked at the map. The dots that represented humans were all glowing bright. "You're saying this was always in us?" "Yes. But it goes deeper than that," Varasha said. "We studied your DNA. Your body is not just resisting the disease. It is fighting it off in ways we have never seen. Your immune system is more than defense. It adapts, learns, evolves. Jack folded his arms. So humans are stronger than we thought? Not just stronger, Varasha said. Your kind is new to the stars, but your biology is ancient in its strength. It may be that humans were meant to awaken when the galaxy needed them most. Jack looked shocked. You're saying we're special? Yes. You are not the strongest, not the smartest, not the fastest, but you survive. You adapt. You grow. That makes you dangerous to some and a hope to others. Jack paced slowly. No wonder the Keth want to stop this. If you spread a cure made from human biology, people won't need their control. Exactly, Varasha said. They control through fear and sickness, but you offer freedom. You are not just a patient, you are a symbol now. Jack stopped walking. A symbol? I'm just a guy who crashed his ship and woke up without pants. Varasha chuckled. And now you are more? Jack thought for a long moment. If this is true, then Earth needs to know. Humanity deserves to understand what we are, what we could become. Varasha's expression turned serious. You may tell them, but you must be careful. Some will fear it. Others will want to use it. Power brings danger. Jack nodded. Yeah, we're good at that part too. She tapped her tablet again. Another image appeared, one of a sleek, dark silver starship. Unlike anything Jack had ever seen, it looked built for speed, stealth, and strength. What's that? He asked. Our gift, Varasha said. A prototype vessel. Made for enhanced pilots. It responds to your thoughts, your reflexes. It is bonded to you now. Jack's eyes widened. Wait, you're giving me a ship? You saved our facility. You protected the patients. You accepted the evolution. You earned it. He stepped closer to the image. And with this, I could go anywhere? Yes, she said. But remember, wherever you go, you carry more than yourself now. You carry the next step for your species. Jack touched the image and smiled. No pressure, right? Varasha looked at him. There is one more choice. You can return to Earth and live a quiet life. Or, you can join us, help spread the cure, travel the stars, be a protector. Jack looked at the stars outside the window. His old life seemed so small now. He had always dreamed of flying beyond known space. Now he had a ship, a mission, and the ability to make a real difference. I'll help, he said, but on one condition. Varasha tilted her head. Yes? Jack grinned. Next time I wake up in a healing pod, please leave me with at least a blanket. She laughed, a real warm laugh. Agreed. The room fell quiet again, but it wasn't the silence of fear anymore. It was the calm before something big, something new. Jack Renshaw, once just a pilot, was now more than human. And he was ready to take the next step, not just for himself but for all of humanity. Jack Renshaw stood in the hangar of the Talari Medical Facility, looking at the sleek starship that now belonged to him. It was beautiful, smooth as glass, shaped like a bird in flight with soft glowing lights along its wings. The ship didn't just look advanced, it felt alive. Varasha walked beside him, her silver eyes calm as always. The ship is ready. Its systems are bonded to you now. No one else can fly it. Jack nodded, touching the cool surface. So this is really happening. I'm going back into space. You are going forward, she said. Not just into space, but into a new future. Jack smiled. He was ready, stronger, smarter. He could feel the power inside him. His senses were sharper, his mind clearer. The Talari tech had changed him, but he still felt like himself. He turned to Varasha. Thank you for everything. Before she could answer, a loud voice came from behind them. Stand down, Nurse Varasha. Jack spun around. 4 tall Talari guards stood at the entrance of the hangar. Their armor was dark, and they held long staffs that crackled with blue energy. Tutti, one in front, stepped forward. Subject 117H is not cleared for departure. Jack frowned. What's this about? Varasha stepped in front of him. He has completed all tests. He is free to leave. The guard's tone was cold. Orders from the High Council. He is not to leave the facility. His presence is now classified. Jack narrowed his eyes. Classified? I'm not some secret weapon. I didn't sign up to be locked in a lab forever. The guard stepped closer. You carry sensitive data. Biological changes that are not fully understood. You are a security risk. Jack's fists clenched. So that's it? You used me and now you want to lock me away? Varasha moved closer to Jack. They are afraid, she said softly. Afraid of what you've become? Of what you could be? Jack looked at the guards. I'm not staying. One of the guards raised his staff. Then you will be taken by force. Before the guard could strike, Jack moved. Fast, he grabbed a metal rod lying near the ship and spun, knocking the staff out of the guard's hands. The other three rushed forward, but Jack was quicker. His body responded with perfect balance and strength. He dodged, struck, blocked. Varasha hit a button on the wall. The hangar lights turned red and a side door opened. This way, she called. Jack jumped back and ran through the door. With her. They raced down a long hallway as alarms blared behind them. They're really going to keep me here like a prisoner, Jack said. Yes, Varasha said. The Council sees you as both powerful and dangerous. But I believe you are the hope we need. They reached a small chamber. Varasha placed her hand on a scanner. A panel opened, revealing a narrow path that led to the ship's side access hatch. Go now, she said. Take the ship. Leave while you still can. Jack looked at her. Come with me, she shook her head. I cannot. They will need someone to explain. Someone to face the Council. I'm not leaving you behind, Jack said. You must, she replied gently. Your path is no longer here. You have a mission beyond this place. Jack hesitated, then nodded. Thank you for believing in me, Varasha smiled. Be more than they expect. That is what humans do best. Jack stepped into the ship. The hatch closed behind him. Lights came on around the cockpit as the systems recognized him. Welcome, Jack Renshaw. Neural link established. Ready for flight. Outside, guards ran into the hangar, weapons drawn. Jack took a deep breath. Let's see what this ship can really do. He gripped the controls. The ship lifted off silently, then shot forward with a sudden burst of speed. The hangar wall opened just in time and the ship flew into open space. Chasers followed, but the starship was too fast. Jack's thoughts guided the ship like it was an extension of his body. He dodged blasts, spun through debris, and soared past enemy crafts with ease. Behind him, the Talari moon faded into the distance. Jack set a course for deep space. He opened a communication link to Earth. Static filled the line at first. Then a faint signal came through. Earth Command, this is Lieutenant Jack Renshaw. I'm alive and I have something important to share. He paused, looking at the stars around him. It's time we stop seeing ourselves as weak. We're more than anyone ever thought. We're ready to take our place in the stars. The ship glowed gently as it moved faster than light, leaving behind the place that tried to hold him and heading toward a future where humanity might become something more. Jack Renshaw's starship glided silently through deep space. Stars passed by like rivers of light. The ship responded to his thoughts, flying smoother than anything built by humans. He was alone, but not afraid. He had escaped the Talari moon, fought off the Keth invaders, and now he was heading home. Earth. Jack sat in the pilot's seat, eyes focused on the screen. Messages from Earth Command had begun to appear. They had picked up his signal and they were listening. Lieutenant Renshaw, is that really you? A voice came through the speaker. We thought you were lost. I was, Jack replied, but I found something. Something big. There was silence on the line. Then the voice came again. Are you safe? Do you need rescue? Jack smiled. No rescue needed. I have a ship now, and a story to tell. As he approached Earth orbit, military ships moved into position. Jack sent them his identification code, and after a moment they allowed him to pass. A few hours later, he landed at the human space station above Earth. Soldiers, scientists, and officers waited as he stepped out of the alien ship. All eyes were on him. Jack wore a sleek black suit made by Talari Tech. His movements were calm and confident. He looked stronger, more alert, more alive than before. One of the generals stepped forward. Lieutenant, report. Jack nodded. Yes, sir, I was rescued by a race called the Talari. They healed me with advanced technology, but that's not all. He paused, then added, they discovered something. Something about us. Humans. The general looked puzzled. What do you mean? Jack looked around. We're immune to a disease spreading across the galaxy. A sickness that's killing other species. Our bodies can resist it, even fight it. The Talari used my biology to build a cure. There were gasps from the crowd. And not just that, Jack continued. Their healing gel did more than fix my injuries. It made me better, stronger, my mind, my body. They're working at levels we didn't think were possible. A scientist stepped forward. You're saying you've been enhanced? Yes, Jack said, and they wanted to keep me there, study me, control me. But I escaped, because this power, this knowledge, it belongs to all of us. Humanity deserves to know what we are. The general looked at him carefully. And what are we? Jack's eyes met his. We're not weak. We're not behind. We're the next step. There was silence. Then the general spoke again. Why would the Talari help you? Jack thought of Varasha, the alien nurse who risked everything to let him go. Because one of them believed in us, he said softly. She saw the good in humans. She knew we could use this power not to conquer but to protect. Later that day, Jack gave full reports. Scientists examined the ship. Doctors scanned his body. Everything he said was true. Human DNA had a natural resistance and the Talari technology had enhanced it. The world began to change. Over the next few months, a quiet alliance began between Earth and the Talari. Their leaders were cautious but open to peace. The cure developed from Jack's DNA was shared across planets. Millions of lives were saved, but not everyone was happy. Some feared what this meant. Others wanted to control it. Governments argued, debated, planned. Through it all, Jack remained at the center, not as a weapon but as a guide. He trained with scientists and pilots. He helped design new suits, new ships, and even safer versions of the healing gel. But he also gave speeches, reminding people of what mattered most. Being stronger doesn't make us better, he said once, speaking to a full crowd. But being better means using strength to protect, not to control. And people listened. Jack became a symbol, not just of survival, but of potential. A normal man who became something more, not because he wanted power, but because he chose to help. One evening, as he stood at the observation deck of the space station, a young officer walked up. Sir, Command wants to know if you'll be joining the next mission. First contact with a new species. Jack smiled. Of course. That's what we do now, right? Explore, learn, help. The officer nodded. Yes, sir, but one thing. What is it? Jack asked. The officer scratched his head. They noticed. You're still not wearing standard uniform pants, just that Talari robe thing. Jack laughed. Tell Command I've evolved beyond pants. The officer laughed too, then saluted. Yes, sir. Jack turned back to the stars. Earth was no longer alone. Humanity had stepped into the galaxy, and they weren't afraid anymore. They were ready.